Good morning. Zach Green here, Bankster DFS Executive Consultant once again. Going to go over the early slate for Saturday, July 27th. So, the first thing I want to mention here before I get started talking much about the slate is 4 game slates or less. I'd never, rarely, play cash games just because it's too hard, to figure out uh, what's going to be the chalk, and if you miss like one or two guys and they homer, your lineup's dead right there. And then the other thing is, if it looks ugly, sometimes it's best to not play. So if you're faced with limited bankroll, you can't deposit all the time, things like that, it might be a slate you just don't want to play, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or if you just have to play, just do like the dollar lineup or something. Uh, but you don't have to play every single slate because some of them are ugly. Anyways, that being said, there's only 2 pitchers I like on this slate. And first one you could probably guess is Clayton Kershaw. And we're going to show you why right here. Kershaw has a 24, almost 25% strikeout rate, only a 4% walk rate, a 52% ground ball rate, a very low 29.7 fly ball rate, a 12% swinging strike rate, and 31% outside the zone swing rate. He's the top option, of course, by $2,000 for a reason, uh, because he is the best pitcher on the slate. The other one might surprise you, but it's Eduardo Rodriguez. And the reason is 24% strikeout rate, only an 8% walk rate. It's kind of high, but not too high for me to avoid. A 46% ground ball rate. And the thing I love most, as you're going to see over here, the projected lineup only has Didi Gregorius as the only left-handed bat in the lineup. You're thinking, Zach, it's a left-handed pitcher. Well, check this out. Eduardo Rodriguez is a reverse splits pitcher. And I'll show you I'm actually on his page, not somebody else's. But lefties are hitting 271 with a 523 slugging percentage, but righties are only hitting 242 with a 378 slug. So, you look at that, and then at home, he's 226 batting average against. Look at this, though. In the month of July, he went 4-0 in 4 starts with just a 153 batting average against. 24 strikeouts in 25 innings, only allowed 4 earned runs in the entire month of July. Now let's see who he was facing. Okay, Tampa Bay, whenever they're struggling, I can get that. Toronto, he allowed 2. But the biggest one here that surprised me is the Dodgers. He held to 1 run on 5 hits, only 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. So it shows me, he can have some success. And then against New York in his earlier start this year, 2 runs and 5 strikeouts. So it's going to be a play that not a lot of people will be on because it's going against the Yankees. But we saw Andrew Cashner shut him down. So, why not do the risk? Because Marco Gonzalez, I'm sorry, but that price is a joke. I don't care if he's playing the Tigers. 9,300 for Marco Gonzalez. And I'm going to show you why. Only a 16% strikeout rate. So he's not getting strikeouts. His ground ball rate is low. His fly ball rate and hard hit rate aren't particularly high, but they are up there. And over here, his hard hit to lefties is a little harder. His fly ball is up to 40% to righties. And look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right-handed batters in the lineup, in the projected lineup. Uh, and so, to me, he doesn't have the strikeout upside to pay that 9,300 price. The other one, Jalen Beeks, he's the only other guy I might consider He's the projected long reliever, and the reason I might consider him is just because Toronto is so uh, terrible right now. But still, you're looking at less than 20% strikeout rate, 8.5 walk rate. He does have a high ground ball rate and a low fly ball rate. So it's possible, he could hold them. But I prefer Eduardo Rodriguez because he's going to be very low owned because people don't look at the reverse splits like we do. And it's huge. The next one, CC Sabathia, yeah. Uh, I think most of y'all know how bad he is on the road, and I guess I'll pull it up just to show you. But look at that. On the road, 297 batting average against versus 214 at home. It's not even something I kind of consider. Boston just destroyed James Paxton. Uh, I think Boston's going to roll again today. Tyler Alexander, he he could be sneaky, I guess. Uh, he had a lot of strikeouts in the minor leagues, but he's not getting the strikeouts. Only 5 strikeouts. So that limits his upside. Joe Ross, there's no way anybody should be considering him today. He's going to be, if you do, he'll be like 0.01% owned. He just gets murdered by left handed batters. And the Dodgers, as we all know, are full of them. Ryan Borucki has been getting crushed on both sides of the ball. And then Kittredge as the opener. I mean, the only thing going for him there is his price. But even at 4,000, if he's only pitching 1 inning, you basically need him to strike out the side to pay off value. So if you use him, you're looking at a very low score, and you have to hope for all your bats to be going crazy. So if we plug in Kershaw and Rodriguez, let's see what we can do with the bats. First thing I want to do is go look at Boston. So here's some of the BVP. Mookie Betts, he's probably going to be chalk after his triple dong last night. He's 12 for 31 with a 387 batting average against Sabathia. But I don't think I'm going to go there just because of, again, ownership. And I've noticed a trend of almost every time someone hits double or triple home runs, they usually struggle the next day. Now, Nelson Cruz, he's still homered again. But I just think there's other options. So I want to take you to Joe Ross. And chalk is chalk for a reason sometimes. And it's, don't fade it just to get ownership leverage because he's giving up 480 batting average against and a 760 slugging percentage to left-handed bats. And then it's not even that much better, 290 and 484 to right-handed bats. And so the Dodgers, yes, they have been slumping. Anibal Sanchez kind of shut them down. But this is the perfect matchup for them to get out of their slump. Look at all those lefties. Peterson, Verdugo, Bellinger, Muncy, Seager. So let's see who we can get from the Dodgers that are cheap. Verdugo, I really like that at 3,900. You got to plug that in. Anytime you can get a top of the order batting guy, very cheap. That's the way I want to go. Let's also look at Boston. Who can we get that's cheap from Boston? JD Martinez is still. I think he should be over 5,000 at this point. While the BVP is not that great, I'm going to show you something else and why I love playing JD Martinez against left-handed pitching. 379 average, 839 slugging against left-handed pitching. So I think he's another guy I'm just going to plug in. Do we have anybody else cheap? And that's the problem right now with using Kershaw and Rodriguez. We're going to have to use guys from other games just because now, look, with Verdugo and Martinez, we're already at 3,500. So we're going to need to find some value around here. So let's go ahead and look at Tampa. Do we think Brousseau will be back in the lineup tonight? It looks like it was just a day off yesterday because he played the other 3 games. So let's go ahead and put in Brousseau. And let's see, Detroit. That's where we can get some value. Who from Detroit? Nick Castellanos. Let's see. He's not doing particularly well, but I believe, like JD Martinez, he's another one that gives it up or crushes left yips. 362 and 638 to left-handed pitching. So now we're at 34. Let's go ahead and punt. I'm not sure if he'll be in the lineup, but John Hicks has homered in each of the last 2 games. So, if Hicks is not in the lineup, just bump down to Bobby Wilson to punch your catching position so that you can get some decent bats. Let's see. Matt Beattie is another kind of cheap one. He hasn't been playing on a regular basis for some reason. Let's see. Man, J.P. Crawford got priced up. Tim Beckham is still pretty cheap. Willie Adams, we can do another punt there. Okay, now we have to decide, do we want Jock Peterson? Do we want Max Muncy? Travis d'Arnaud? Let's go ahead and put Peterson in. That gives us 3,500 for second base. And don't like the options there. d'Arnaud gives us 3,800. And Brock Holt. He hits lefties pretty good. We could do that. Go ahead and show you. So Holt, or no, sorry, I had that mixed up. He hits righties. See, he doesn't hit lefties very good at all, so we don't want to do that. No. Let's go ahead and put Brousseau at second base. I love those guys that you can see, because now I can put Vlad. Boom. I love those guys like Brousseau that you can play in multiple positions because it helps when you're trying to finagle around for that last spot. So as you can see, it's going to be very hard to do Kershaw and Rodriguez together, but I do think they're the 2 highest scoring pitchers on the slate. So I'm going to try to finagle around with using maybe some cheap Tampa, maybe some cheap Detroit. I don't particularly love the New York bats, even though they have the 539 implied run total. So, like I said, 4-game slates, they're kind of a crapshoot. You have to be smart with your money. Don't play it like a normal slate. Don't play cash usually. And if you have to, just skip it or only do one lineup. And you definitely need to try to find variations, because if you follow the chalk on a 4-game slate, you're going to be in a battle to even get minimum cash because you'll have the same players that everybody else has. Now, if you fade the chalk and it doesn't hit, then you just shoot through the leaderboard like crazy. So that's why, I used to hate the big game slates, like 14 games like last night. But I actually am starting to like those a little more, because what it does is it allows so much options for value. You can fit in all the bigger guys that you want to get in your lineup. And on a 4-game slate, as you can tell, you're limited to basically Toronto, Detroit, and Tampa for your value, because you don't want to use Washington against your pitcher. You don't want to use New York against your pitcher. Seattle hasn't been hitting particularly well. And so, if you're dead set on not using Eduardo Rodriguez, of the cheap options, Tyler Alexander would be the option that I went with. I don't want to use CC. I don't want to use Barucki. I don't want to use Ross. I don't want to use Kittredge. Marco Gonzalez is priced too high for me. And Jalen Beeks, I might use him, might not. So I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of how I kind of look at the slate and dissect it, and give you guys an idea other than what maybe a lot of other people are showing you. So, thank you and have a great day.